book besties. So I just finished Carnage by Shantel Tessier, and I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. I have a feeling this whole series is going to be 5 out of 5 stars. This one was really good. It was good. Okay, I've said this about all of them. This is your one warning, okay? If you don't want spoilers, or if you haven't read this book, keep swiping or keep scrolling, because there will be spoilers. Do you see how big this book is? How am I supposed to talk about this book if I don't give spoilers? This book is over 600 pages, you guys. This is probably the longest book I've ever read in my life. It's big. And the next one's bigger. And I've heard the one after Madness, I think it's called Chaos. It's like coming out like November. Is even longer than Madness. I'm not complaining because I love these stories. Let's get back to Carnage, shall we? So, if you don't know, this book follows Saint and Ashton. In the previous books, you've been kind of hearing about the Spade brothers. I don't know why I put them in quotation marks, but I did. So the Spade brothers they're not biological brothers. They are a group of 4 that run this place called Carnage. And it's pretty much, if the lawyers want you to disappear or get tortured, that's where you go. So this book is split into 2 parts, and it's like Saint's senior year of college is the first part, pretty much. And then the second part is 4 years after that. In the first part, it kind of goes into like how being a Spade brother is different than being like a regular lord. Their initiation's a lot more gruesome and a lot more like detailed than like an actual lord would be. And the things that like Ashton has to go through in order to become like a chosen one for a Spade brother is a lot more like she has to remain a virgin in order to be a chosen for a Spade brother. So Saint's dad is like a Spade brother, like he runs Carnage now. Ashton's dad is another one that runs Carnage. So there's like 4 of them. And if a Spade brother has, or like if the runners of Carnage have a daughter, then that daughter is to be given to another, like one of the sons of the Carnage rulers. But she has to remain a virgin, and if she's not a virgin, but if she like by the time that like the vow ceremony comes along, she pretty much gets tossed out. Like she gets like disowned, and she gets like pretty much she gets to be pimped out to whoever that her chosen chooses, and then she gets disowned from her family, and she can never talk to them again, kind of thing. It's kind of insane. But Ashton has always kind of like had a thing for Saint. And I'm going to skip a couple of details here because we need some surprise, okay? And Ashton's family is a little messed up. I'll kind of get into it. But Ashton's always kind of had a thing for Saint and ends up being his chosen. So there are 4 Spade brothers, okay? Like I said in the beginning, there's 4 of them. The 4 that are in, like the 4 that like will run Carnage next are Saint, Hayden, Cashton, and Adam. Adam is Ashton's brother, older brother. Like she finds out that she's going to be his chosen like 3 weeks before the vow ceremony. Some things happen during those 3 weeks that are set up by her mother that make her no longer a virgin, and she doesn't realize that because she was drugged. Ashton's dad has cameras set up in her apartment, and so he knows what happened to her. Like he didn't know that his wife had done it, but he knows that what happened to her. And he gives Saint a heads up and was all like, fix this. So he has to make it seem like she bled when they do their vow ceremony. And he does, so she doesn't like have to get pimped out and stuff like that. Things kind of take a turn for the worst after that. Somebody puts a hit out on her older brother. So her older brother like leaves town along with her dad, and then the lords show up at their house, or her house, and unalive her mother, and is going to unalive her, but then Tyson is the one that takes the call and knows that she's Saint's chosen and calls Saint, and so Saint like takes care of it. But then kind of like after that, she's pretty much Like, everyone thinks she's gone. Like, she's dead. She ends up living at Carnage after that. The boys aren't in charge of Carnage yet. It's their dads. And their dads are corrupt a-holes, to put it nicely. They end up trying to frame her and do a bunch of stuff to her, and she ends up preggo from what happened before her vow ceremony, and she ends up running away. And then 4 years go by, and the boys have been through hell, because the Lord stepped in after she ran away and was all like, we're gonna train you some more, because I don't like you let a female come in between you and your job, and that's not how the Lords do things, especially here at Carnage. And so they go through hell to get retrained to be leaders of Carnage. So the time jump is 4 years later, and they are officially running Carnage, and it's very sick and very twisted, and yeah, they're still looking for her. They get a lead from one of their prisoners, Whitney, from a previous book, and they tell her, or she tells him exactly where she is. So they go and get her. And she's a stripper slash hooker, going by the name of Brittany. The only reason I remember that is because it's my name. They end up bringing her back. They've all changed. All of them. Because before she ran away from them, Saint used to share her with Cassian and Hayden. So they kind of all like formed like this bond. Just so you're aware, this isn't a reverse harem or like a why choose romance. She picks one, like she doesn't pick one. She gets one. He comes for her and just takes her. Once she ends up back at Carnage, there's no more sharing after like their 4 years. Like the 4 years have passed. I've said they've all changed, and maybe not in the best. Like it's probably worse, especially with the training they had to go through. There's a lot of like twists and turns, and so like half the time I was sitting there like, what the F is going on right now? Wait, what's happening? What? And I was like, what do you mean she wasn't pregnant with his baby? Like, what? So it was confusing AF most of the time. But that's kind of the thing I like about these books, is we don't find out everything until the end of the book, and I'm like, I'm okay with it. I need a little mystery. I need to know, like, I need to just be like, wait, what's happening? Oh, okay. I'll find out later, kind of thing. Kind of come to expect it from these books, that I'm like not gonna find out what's happening until the end of the book. It makes it really hard not to skip ahead and be like, oh, okay, I get it now. But at the same time, you don't know when that information's coming at the end of the book, so kind of skipping ahead is kind of pointless. Once she ends up back at Carnage again, like, things are good for a second, and then, well, they're not really that good. But shit's not hitting the fan. And then it does, and then she gets kidnapped, and then other things happen to her. And then Saint realizes he can't, like, try to hate her again, like, anymore. If you haven't read the Lord series, please go check it out. I would start with book number 1, which is The Ritual. I would just read them in order, because if you don't read them in order, you're going to be hella confused. Can't even imagine starting with this book and then being like, what? What's happening? I low-key am hoping that we kind of get like a spin-off series of like the kids, because one of his twin daughters scares the shit out of me. So I'm kind of hoping that once she like finishes up the Lord series, we get like the Lord's Legacy series. That'd be great. If you need an idea for another series, I got you, girl. If you haven't read Carnage by Shantel Tessier, go definitely check it out. Like I said, start with The Ritual and go from there. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.